Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the upper tier, and this is Thursday Tier Talk. We have an action-packed show for you tonight. We're going to be previewing the Premier League games for the weekend. We might have a little chat about the results so far this week, and we'll also be doing Beat the Bookie, where we give you our picks and bets for the weekend. We've had a little bit of success so far in the last couple of weeks. Del Boy's in the comments. Cheers, Del Boy. Smash the likes, absolutely. And also Morris is in the comments. I think Morris is coming all the way from Holland at the moment. He's in Amsterdam, I think. Mason Mount news, please. I don't think there's any Mason Mount news yet, is there? Not that I know of. I haven't heard on. Have you heard on about Mason Mount yet? No?
No, I think I know what Morris is talking about. It's just to confirm that Mason Mount is still a rent boy.
Oh, or this year's hide and seek champion, no?
One or the other.
Absolutely. Right, let's get into the Premier League. Do you want to start with the preview?
I don't mind. You're going to tell everybody who I am, or like I didn't get my...
Oh,
no, I didn't get this is my co-host,
the
dad.
Sorry,
going like and smash the channel and all. I know you've had a little bit of time off, but you know you're gonna have to.
Sorry,
keep the fucking
I haven't had any time off actually. My co-host, as always, the Dazzler,
was
back
I not
with
here
a
last
bang.
Week on my own? I think I was.
I think you were. I was on this a few times on my own as well while I was away as well.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, my co-host, the Dazzler, joins me as always. Welcome, Darren. How are you? As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I'm just excited to get into it. It's a big show tonight. We got deadline day and stuff like that, and also.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it. So this is.
How was your holiday? Was it good?
Yeah, I had a good holiday. Yeah, I wouldn't call it relaxing because it's non-stop when you're over there. Really, you know, you're up pretty early. I was podcasting at 7 while everyone was sleeping, down to breakfast at sort of 8 o'clock, and out to the theme parks for 9, and then you're just walking and queuing and on your V till 6 or 7 in the evening. You're absolutely banjacks, and then you go for food. And that's how you put in a day over there. And if you're not doing that, you're just walking around shopping malls with really long arms like a gorilla carrying shopping bags and stuff like that. And when I'm not doing that, I'm figure hunting around Walmart and Target and stuff like that. That's what I was doing. That's Orlando all wrapped into one. It's food, theme parks, lots of dollars. And the minute you get there, your wallet's opened and it doesn't close until you get back on the plane. But yeah, we had a great time, and it was extra special as well because we went back because the last time we were there with Hillary's mum and dad. Both have passed away, so it jogged a few memories. We went back to some of the kind of restaurants we went with them and stuff like that. So it was a little bit emotional and stuff like that, and it was also emotional going back with the kids as well because the last time I was there with the kids, I think Lauren must have been about 7. I'd say Ben was about 5 and Dylan was about 2 or 3 or something like that. So they had no recollection of anything. So all the stuff we went to in Disney and stuff like that, the Indiana Jones shows and all that kind of stuff, I said to Ben, do you not remember any of this? And I spent a fortune on these holidays. And he goes, no, I don't remember any of this. And I was there going, good Lord, what a waste of money that was. But here we go anyway. Morris back in the comments, he's shite, that's the news. If you've seen the amount of screenshots Morris sent me last night of comparisons between players to Mason Mount, it was unbelievable. He must have sent me 6, I'd say.
Quite a lot of those screenshots. I have to say, Morris has been busy. Morris has been a busy boy.
Oh, he sent them to you too, did he? Yeah.
He did indeed, yeah.
I'm beginning to think, is Morris a closet Chelsea fan or what's going on?
Don't know.
Not in Holland yet. Leaving at 2 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. Just a note for your diary as well. We will have out our fantasy chancer show in the morning. Game week 6, I think it is now. Can you believe we're game week 6 already? It's crazy. Del Boy's in the comments.
I've not been having a great time in fantasy football.
I was actually going to make the point tonight that out of our WhatsApp group and me being like so bad at fantasy football. But you've given me some good tips this year, Dazzler, I have to say. But I'm top of our pile. Closely followed by Mark Hogan.
And I gave you the tips and then didn't take the tips myself.
Yourself, yeah, absolutely. Del Boy back in the comment. Story. What's the crack? Del Boy, I heard you were out shopping the other day. You bumped into Dazzler from what I heard, yeah?
You know where we were? We met each other outside Smith's Toy Store in Airside because Del's little lad was starting primary school yesterday, And my youngest, she was starting primary school today. So there was a bit of bribery going on to get people through the doors and stuff like that, So
Nice.
we were outside Smith. Now, while I was in there, we might have did a bit of figure hunting as well. Did we do figure hunting? We did a bit of figure hunting. But there was nothing there. We're waiting on the good stuff to arrive. We do have some good news about Smith, though. So we're obviously going to the UK at the weekend.
Yeah.
And the Smiths in the UK have a lot of figures that the Smiths in Ireland haven't received yet. Now, I find that a bit mental because all the Mattel figures come from the States anyway, right? So the fact they've managed to land them in the UK and fly them over us to get there, like that's a bit nuts.
Do you know how that works? Mattel have huge warehouses in the UK. Yeah, because remember, they don't just do WWE, they do Barbie and everything.
Absolutely.
They do all the
brands. They do
Barbie,
they do Hot Wheels, they do a lot of
Universe,
stuff. Yeah,
everything. So they'd have massive distribution warehouses around the UK, and those are the distribution warehouses that Ireland would draw from, basically. So that's why that
But the
happens.
good news is, when we go at the weekend, we'll be able to nip into Smiths and pick ourselves up some Series 95s that haven't arrived in our lovely green country just yet. So it's a win-win, isn't it?
This is where you have to be quiet now, and I'll tell you why, because Greg is probably listening. So we can't say anything about the bootload of stuff that we're going to fill in your Jeep. We have to be quiet.
Okay. Don't tell anybody.
So if you're listening, for you millions and millions of our viewers and subscribers, don't tell Greg. Right, let's start with the results from match week 5 so far. We know that Man United is still on at the moment, and we know you're going to keep us abreast of what's going on there, no doubt.
I sure am.
Yeah, at the moment, 58 minutes gone, and it is 1-0 to Man United. Jadon Sancho in the 23rd minute with an absolutely beautiful team goal, I have to say. Really, really well worked. As simple as you can get, and that's always the way. Beautiful, simple football is the most beautiful football.
Like four passes from back to front, goal.
Absolutely, yeah. And so simple. So simple.
Really
Technique that any kid on a Saturday or a Sunday morning could do. Absolutely. Savage. Let's begin then. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 1. I don't know. I suppose it was probably no surprise, really, was it?
I suppose Brentford have kind of stagnated a little bit since they thumped us, haven't they? They've kind of hit the skids a little bit, and the performance has been okay, but they've just slowed down. I think maybe the 4-0 thumping of United went to their head a little bit, and they need to kind of get back on track. But no better man than Thomas Frank to get them back at it. Palace, I think, have been good this season so far, I must say. I know like they don't have an amazing points total right now, but like even the games they've lost, like Palace have looked good. They really have under Patrick Vieira. Gotta say.
Yeah, well, they've already played City and Liverpool, like, so. I mean, it's not an easy start either. Oh, and Arsenal as well, yeah.
And Arsenal as well, so tough start, but like they've been really good. They really, really have, You've seen it firsthand. They were excellent against you, and they were excellent on the opening night the season against Arsenal. A bit unlucky towards the end at the OG. They go a couple up at the weekend against City. Really, really good, like they're not really looking to compete in the same league as City. Let's be honest here. And I think there's lots of good stuff to come from Palace. I think Patrick Vieira is doing himself no harm with the job he is doing at Crystal Palace, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is a mistype from me. So it's Fulham and Brighton versus Hove Albion. No, it's Fulham 2, Brighton 1. Interesting one for Potter. They kind of huffed and they puffed, but Marco Silva seems to be doing a tidy job at Fulham at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, this was a little bit of a shock for me, obviously, because I've seen Brighton firsthand on the first day of the season, and they were very, very good away from home and stuff like that at Old Trafford. Excuse me. But I think Fulham are really using Craven Cottage to their advantage. It's a tight ground, the fans are on top of it and stuff like that. Now, it's not very raucous, let's say, but they are certainly using the atmosphere that the crowd generates to make things a little bit difficult for the travelling teams. And I think if they can pick up points at home, Fulham might find themselves in decent shape come the end of the season,
Yeah, and they brought in, who did they bring in? Willian today, didn't they?
Brought
which
in
is a
Willian today. They brought in Levan Kurzawa, who's the left back from PSG. They look like they've got a deal for Daniel James with Leeds as a loan deal. And they also look to have picked up a lad from Spain for about 4.5 million, a striker as well. So they've done a little bit of business for them today, haven't they?
yeah,
Over the last couple of days,
Morris sent me the William one in the Fulham game. He goes, I thought I'd seen a ghost. It was quality, yeah, absolutely. The next one, 7:45, which probably wouldn't have shocked you based on your reaction in our WhatsApp group, which absolutely lit it up over 2 days. Southampton 2, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked at all. Obviously, I'd seen Southampton firsthand on Saturday against United, and I thought they were pretty decent. I thought United had a good defensive performance, which basically got us the win. Something that we hasn't been associated with us for quite a long time. But I think it was really, really good to get the 1-0 win against Southampton. But I fancied Southampton to do okay against Chelsea. I know Chelsea had kind of stuttered a little bit at home the previous game and stuff like that, and just managed to get over the line. And I kind of thought to myself, you know what? I think Southampton will do this, and they did. I had a life left in fantasy football. Sorry, in last man standing. There was 10 of us left in it, and 5 lads went out on Chelsea. I was a bit surprised so many lads went for them, because they haven't really lit it on fire yet this season, and I was kind of thinking, geez, that's a big shout to say that they're going to go away and beat Southampton like that, and it proved it. So I was quite delighted, if I'm honest, really.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're playing well, it's not an easy place generally to go
Absolutely
to. You've seen it even with your own team, how tough a task it was to get over the line.
They've done City over there a couple of times. They've done Liverpool as well. They really play well against the bigger teams. The teams that come out and play against them, because Southampton are so good on the attack and on the counter attack and stuff like that.
Yeah, Leeds won, Everton won. Kind of not an unusual result, really. I was kind of maybe expecting Leeds to maybe edge it, but obviously losing the boy Rodrigo to the dislocated shoulder, I think it was, wasn't it? And seeing him getting the oxygen and stuff like that on the pitch is never a sight we like to see. And he'll be a big loss for them, hasn't he? Because he's been their shining light so far this season, hasn't he?
He's been unbelievable, and he was a big loss to me, I can tell you, because I just shifted him into my fantasy football team. I had him in there in midfield. He was a nice price. He'd lots of potential with how he's played so far this season, and then 20 odd minutes in and he's on a stretcher going off, and you're thinking, Jesus, did that just happen? So that was really, really tough, I have to say. Very tough for Leeds. I thought they did okay to kind of reshape things and stuff. Everton have been clinging on a little bit recently, and they've been clinging on to Anthony Gordon in particular, who has been in sparkling form for Everton. He really, really has, the boy. And I know we're all kind of looking at the prices and the fees that are being bandied about for guys like this, but listen, he's a really, really young kid. As you can see, he's in a very poor Everton side, and he is the shining light. What could you get from an Anthony Gordon in a much better team? I don't know. The sky is kind of the limit. His work rate's excellent. He can finish well. He passes well. He dribbles. He's exciting. I think he's a very good footballer. I think Everton have done well to hold on to him, and I think he'll need a big season if Everton are going to stay in this league, because they're very short of goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I decided about a week ago, I might have been on holidays when I seen some of the transfers coming through and stuff like that. And what I did was I decided I'm just going to look at the names now and think about the names. I'm not looking at the fees anymore, because this transfer window is crackpot. It's absolutely mental. I've never seen anything like it in terms of values. I won't say for bang average players, because there's been a lot of quality and stuff like that. But when you start going up into those digits, it's crazy, isn't it?
But you know what I think is kind of slanting the market a little bit? We've got guys like Messi and Ronaldo who have been at the top of world football for a number of years. The guys are fading out, and what's happening now is clubs are buying the next crop of superstars. Yeah. And they're investing heavily in young players, and in young players with lots of potential that could go on to have great careers for the club, but also have massive sell-on value if things go very, very well. And I think that's what's happening. Like, if you just look at United, with the boy Anthony, like, I don't believe we're buying an £85 million player, but I think we're buying an awful lot of potential.
Yeah.
And I think if things go well for him, I think, United have a massive opportunity to maybe double that money down the road if things went well enough.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't happen, maybe whatever. But at 22, the opportunity is there where if he comes in, has 2, 3, 4 good years, gets himself in a shake-up for things, all of a sudden, that player's worth probably double that money, because we can see the way transfer fees are going for, as you say, maybe not bang average players, but guys that maybe are buying potential as opposed to the real deal right now.
Yeah, like I said, with someone like Anthony, if you're paying 100 million for him, you're monetizing it over the 5 or the 6 years of the contract at 20 million a year. So, you got to take everything into account as well. When people say 100 million, they lose their mind. But that's not the reality.
Even when they say 100 million, they'd be saying it wrong because we only paid 85 from Bull. There you go.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah, I'm talking about 100 million euros here now. You're talking 85 million pounds. So I'm talking euros. Because most of funny enough, if you look at most of the news and the reporting this year, they've reported in euros because they're the bigger figures as well to get you to click into it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed this year, and you might comment on this, I just thought I'd ask you as well. I've never seen the top 6 in the Premier League need so much work to be done in their squads as well. That need for so much work within their squads in terms of players in. And I think that has hugely inflated as well. And then obviously you have like the anomalies like Notts Forest coming in and spending an absolute fortune
They're still at it tonight.
Yeah, the talk is by the end of tonight they're talking 21 or 22 players or something like that, or something crazy.
I was listening. Even further than that. I know our boy Mark, who might be on with us later on, will have a little bone to pick with them because they've just worked on a deal for the Blackpool winger Josh Bowler. He's coming into Forest and he's actually been loaned out to Olympiacos straight away.
I wonder did Mark have him in his bet? Mark Hobbies, he's had him in the bet a few times, hasn't he?
He's had him in the bet quite a few times. Yeah, he absolutely has. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. But I think like it's a huge window for Forest. I've got to be honest. I think it's a massive risk. But if I'm Notts Forest, if I'm a Notts Forest fan, if I'm a Notts Forest owner, and I've been out of the league for so long and I get an opportunity, this is how to play the game. 110%. This is how to play the game. If he gets enough from each of those 20 signings, and he only maybe needs 10 or 15% here or there, if he buys 5 strikers and they all get 10 goals, not a lot, 10 each, he's got 50 goals. If he gets 20 assists between 4 or 5 midfielders, he knows he's got a good goalkeeper. He knows he's got centre backs that are going to go in and keep things tight, and he's got the 2 wing backs and stuff. Like he's got, and I got to be honest with you, one of the biggest shocks the whole window for me. I was at the Man United Atletico Madrid game in the Champions League in round about March when they knocked us out in the first round of the knockouts. The boy Renan Lodi scored the goal to knock United out and was quite comfortably the best player on the pitch that night. Quite comfortably. And I was looking at it, and then all of a sudden I seen, hold on, Renan Lodi's going to Notts Forest. I was like, is there something wrong there? Because don't forget, Man City had been on the lookout for a left back, right? Yeah. And I'm like, you put this guy into a City team, this guy's unbelievable. Gets up and down that wing, he's got an eye for goal, he passes well, he's got a great engine, he's aggressive on the tackle. I'm like, surely City are going to come in here. No, does the deal, 5 million loan fee with an option of 30 million to Forest. And I'm like, I don't know who's doing the deals at Forest, but at the end of this window, they need to take a fucking bow.
Yeah, Stevie Cooper's gas as well. If you see him post-match being interviewed and he's asked about the transfers coming in and all, he's just going to, sure it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's gas, Big up, Daz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, I'm doing good, pal. Hope you're doing good as well. Let us know, Daz, if you're having a few bets as well. We're going to be moving on to Beat the Bookie in a little while. Better race down through these, Dazzler, because we got to get on to the preview as well and Beat the Bookie.
Absolutely.
Bournemouth 0, Wolves 0. Wolves a little bit blunt again on the night. Couple of chances, but nothing.
I think straight away you can see why Wolves have just spent 20 to 25 million on a striker because they need
absolutely.
it. I saw the highlights of this game. The boy Jimenez should have had enough to retire on with his goal bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. Arsenal 2, Villa 1. Still problems for Stevie.
And to be honest with you, I was talking to somebody during the week, a Villa fan actually. And I said, if you guys lose at Arsenal, is Stevie in trouble? And he said, absolutely. Now, I don't know whether it was the manner of it that they were in the game and stuff that's kept them in a little bit, but Stevie's got to be getting close to the exit door here now.
Yeah, he was asked post-match and he said he was fully aware of his position and how stark it was, basically, you know what I mean? So Stevie's no fool as well. He's a realist. He knows the score, like, you know. Man City 6, Nottingham Forest 0. Haaland with yet another hat-trick. And as we predicted, Ted had predicted in the WhatsApp group that they might pull him off. Julian Alvarez came on and scored 2. And I think Bernardo Silva got one as well.
Alvarez started the game.
Oh, he started, did he?
He started on the right side of a front three, Foden on the left, and Haaland through the middle. Because actually, again, and just to touch on fantasy, Guardiola had mentioned that there was a possibility that Haaland wasn't going to play or would be rested against Forest. So I listened to that and I said, well, if he rests Haaland, he's got to play Alvarez. So I took Haaland out of my fantasy football team. Now, as it happened, I put Alvarez in. He got 2. Wasn't a massive big deal, big difference. But if I'd have known, I could have kept the 2 at a minute, you know, and because I actually had Phil Foden in as well. So I could have helped me case a little bit there. But listen, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd Foden and Haaland both of mine, and I had Haaland as captain.
Yeah, I'd taken Haaland out, so I didn't captain him. I captained Jesus. Now he got a goal, but he didn't do enough. I've been hanging on, if I'm honest. I must be the only person in fantasy football that doesn't have Haaland in his team this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's back for this weekend.
Absolutely, back with a bang. West Ham 1, Spurs 1.
Yeah, this is a good result for West Ham, if I'm honest.
Yeah, not a much needed point for Moyes.
Much needed. I fully expected Spurs to go out and do a job on West Ham. Spurs, for all they've brought in, haven't been great this season so far. Now, what they're doing is they're playing Antonio Conte football. They're just winning games. And they just win a game, and they win a game, and then they get a draw, and then they win a game. And they just keep picking up points like that. But I have watched Spurs a few times this season. Spurs aren't playing extremely well right now. And I think that has to change if Spurs want to keep things rolling. You know, I think the boy Son has been oblivious this season. And I mean, we all know I'm a massive fan of the kid, I have to say. You know, in previous years, I said I'd have had Son out of there quicker than I had Kane. So I'm a massive fan of his. But he's really flattered to deceive this season. Kulishevsky's been a little bit better. Kane's probably been their best player, you know. And other than that, it's just about keeping it really, really tight at the back for Spurs, which is kind of gone against the way Spurs have played over the years, you know.
Yeah, hold that Son thought. I have him in my beat the bookie anyway, so just to let you know. The 8 o'clock then, which is one that ages me rapidly following this team. Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. Jurgen Klopp playing the get out of jail free card on Monopoly by bringing on Carvalho. And Carvalho scoring in the 98th minute. A lot of talk about this. 5 minutes of added time and it ended up being 8 minutes and all this kind of thing. I think people were very aware of Newcastle lying around on the pitch and stuff like that and all. They were playing the game and stuff like that, which was frustrating. Klopp, he was absolutely perplexed on the sideline. Nearly came to blows with Eddie Howe's coaching staff at the end and all. There was a proper kind of a discussion, let's say, about it and stuff like that. But Liverpool again, flattered to deceive, absolutely shocking first half. Isaac with a great goal, Henderson going to sleep. Poor pass by Trent Alexander-Arnold to start the play off in the first place. Looked a bit lackluster. Yeah. Second half a little bit better, went about it. Once they got the goal, then they got the bit between their teeth and they were trying a lot. And we were lucky as well because right before that goal, as far as I know, Isaac, I think, had a goal ruled off for offside, which was very much debatable, I think, as well. But yeah, we got through 2-1 and we roll on to the Merseyside derby now, lunchtime on Saturday. But certainly we didn't carry the Bournemouth form in by any stretch of the imagination. And if anything, we looked more like the Fulham and the Palace game. And just to round out then the midweek fixtures, obviously Leicester versus Man United, 76 minutes gone, is it? 78 minutes gone. Man United 1, Leicester 0.
76 minutes gone.
76 minutes gone. I seen a substitution there earlier as well. Elanga went off and Casemiro came on. 2, was there?
And Sancho's gone off. Sancho's gone off and Ronaldo's come on.
Okay. All right.
So
not too bad substitutions.
Probably McTominay and Casemiro in the middle. And I'd imagine Eriksen's gone as the 10. Fernandes has gone right, Rashford's gone left, and Ronaldo's gone through the middle. That's how I would see it with my eyes anyway. It's not been an unbelievable game so far. It's just kind of ticked over. Very little in between the two teams. Obviously, the goal, which we took quite well, but other than that, there hasn't been lots of chances,
Yeah. Daz back in the comments here. Do I know anyone who gives racing tips on Twitter and oil? I don't. I tell you, Daz, there's been a history of race horses in my family. And I don't like betting on race horses at all. Stay away from them and keep your money. Always make sure that your betting is fun and gamble responsibly. Don't be wasting your time on horses. It's such a tough one to get right. And anyone who tells you that they know an inside out, they must have inside information or something, because I've had so many tips down through the years about race horses, including some of my dad's own horses, and I still lost money on them. That's all I'm saying. This week's games, midweek, match week 6, starting off Saturday lunchtime, Everton versus Liverpool. Let's run down through these quick, Dazzler, so we can get to beat the bookie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's another tough one for Liverpool going to Goodison, especially at the moment not being too switched on. Would like to think a Liverpool win, but something tells me this is going to be a draw or something like that.
I don't know. I think you'd still have to favour Liverpool, I know Nunez is back as well for the weekend, isn't he? After
and he looked hyped up last night as well when that goal went in. He was up off his feet like a lunatic.
Yeah, I'd expect to probably see him back, if I'm honest. I know Firmino's been excellent, but I'd expect to see him in some way, shape or form. Maybe not a start, but probably off the bench if things get tight. And yeah, I still fancy Liverpool here, if I'm honest. I think he's really need to do a little bit of work in that defensive midfield position at the minute. I think Fabinho's been very poor, which he's very un-Fabinho-like. I think he's noticing that you guys don't have the cutting edge in front, and he's trying to get a little bit further forward than he usually would, rather than just sit and dictate and control the game. And I think because he's doing that, he's leaving an awful lot of space in front of that back four. I think there's players that are targeting between the lines against Liverpool. They get between the lines are control,
I think a lot of it as well is a frustration, isn't it? I mean, I think he's a little bit frustrated. Maybe at our captain a little bit, and he's trying to fill that void.
You know what? Well. You literally just took the words out of my mouth. I think playing next to Jordan Henderson would frustrate me as well, if I'm honest. And the other thing I have to say, I thought Harvey Elliott at times last night was just sensational.
Yeah,
I thought, some of what he did was unbelievable. Some of the touches, some of the turns, some of the technique. But we got to remember this: he's still a kid. He's still a kid. He's not going to probably hit his prime for another 2 or 3 years. And you don't want all the hopes of Liverpool Football Club being put on a kid like that. They've got the boy Curtis Jones. They've got the boy Carvalho, who has looked really good value every time he's come on the pitch. I was kind of a bit shocked he didn't play from the beginning last night. And then, they waited quite a while to get him on and stuff. I think he needs to be unleashed in the Merseyside derby, if I'm honest. I think he'd cause huge trouble for Everton in between those lines, scheming like that. And I think it's what Liverpool need right now.
Yeah, I think I was thinking even prior to Hendo's injury last night, I was thinking Carvalho, Elliott and Fabinho as the midfield. That was my thinking. But do you know something? That's what my heart and my head is calling. But I think I have a funny feeling it's going to be Milner, and that will just infuriate me.
Wow.
Chelsea, West Ham.
Unless he decides to play Milner right back, which is a possibility as well, because Trent really needs to start having a look in the mirror.
No, I think with Trent, what he'll do is he'll try and work him through the picture. Trent just looks uninterested at the moment. He's a bit nonchalant in the way he's playing. That pass last night that led to the goal was absolutely shocking from Trent, from a guy who we regard as one of the top 3 backs in the world and stuff like that at times, when he's really, really good and stuff like that. I just think last night he's so far off that level that we regard him at times. Well, I regard him at, maybe not you.
I was going to say, I definitely don't regard him that highly, I have to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
listen, as a footballer, I regard him. As a fullback, I don't. Yeah. I think the two are very, very different. Like, the kid's got all the talent in the world, but there has to come a stage where somebody
pick your position. Pick your position.
Yeah, because this, like, if you're gonna play in a midfield, I know we've spoken about it before. If he's gonna play a midfield three, I'd nearly have Trent on the right of the midfield three, because he's still gonna get high enough and he's still gonna get that ball and that whip and stuff, and we know that's where he's good. But I mean, defensively at times he just looks so disinterested, so all at sea, so lacking in positional sense, and you're like, wow, what is going on here? And it's frustrating. I gotta say, it frustrates me as a football fan knowing the kid has that much talent. But if he was playing for my team, it'd probably frustrate me even more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I mentioned it last night in the match reaction as well. Just the team as a whole at the moment just looks really uninterested, with the exception of Elliott and Carvalho and stuff like that. The rest of them, even looking in the tunnel before he came out last night, Virgil van Dijk was standing there. He looked like it was the last place on the planet he wanted to be, and normally he's pumped up for stuff. It's just I think there's just a lot of frustration there at the moment within the squad, and probably
he was actually the other player for me that was at fault with the goal, with how slowly he got out.
Yeah, it was him, and also it was him and also Hendo as well. Hendo, just watching him ghost by him, like, you know what I mean, like he wasn't even there. It was crazy. But just look, they know they need to up the level and stuff like that. And I did think the Bournemouth was kind of a plaster over a wound kind of thing, even though it was a good performance. But again, we taken into account it was Bournemouth, and no disrespect to Bournemouth. Let's come down through some of the key ones then. Chelsea, West Ham.
Another tough game for Chelsea, if I'm honest. Another really tough game. And you know what? I just realised this. I think it was the week you did this on your own. And I think the first 4 games you had were draws. You're like, draw. I've gone for another draw here.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I said, Jesus, like, Niall's going to have splinters up his arse. He's sitting on the fence so often. And then I looked and I said, you know what? A lot of tough games in this league now, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's
no
not
easy
as many
3 points anymore.
There's not as many giveaways. Listen, if you're Man City at home to Forest or Bournemouth. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of tough games. Like, going to Southampton isn't easy. Going to Fulham isn't easy. Going to Brighton is not easy. Going to Brentford isn't easy. Going to Leeds, Palace, this,
From a Liverpool point of view, nowhere is easy. I'm just
and these aren't traditionally the big 6 or anything like that. So you're going to play 5 massive games home and away, or 10, say, against those teams. But then there's a lot of other teams that are going to really, really test you week to week now. And I think that just goes to show the strength and depth and the quality in the Premier League at the minute. There's 2 or 3 teams that are a little bit, afloat, let's say, Bournemouth being certainly one of them. But I mean, even from the rest, like, on any given day, there's a lot of teams in that league can do you up like a kipper and beat you.
Absolutely. So look, we started with 2 draws, Fulham and Crystal Palace. So what does that tell you? I think this is another one. I'm not sure. I think I pinned a draw on this, but we'll get into it and beat the bookie anyway.
I didn't give you a score for Liverpool. Sorry, I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, and in the Chelsea West Ham game, I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Very good.
Yeah.
Brentford versus Leeds.
I see Brentford getting back on top here, getting back into the swing of things. I think Leeds, obviously, without the boy Rodrigo, I think Patrick Bamford's not right where they want him to be. Daniel James looks like he's heading out the door. I think Leeds what they're doing is they're making some nice changes in that squad, but I don't think they're right where they want to be right now. And I'm going to go for Brentford 2-1. Yeah.
And Ivan Toney's not too far off his top form either. He was unlucky the other day with a couple of good chances.
I think there's a couple of goals due him and the boy and Wemo and stuff like that,
Yeah, for your fantasy team, he's one that you might want to look at because he's due. He will have a game where he'll bang 2 or 3, and his form will just come back like that. Newcastle versus Palace. I'm sure Eddie Howe want to get back to winning ways. After the defeat last night.
Absolutely. I think he'd probably count himself unlucky. I thought we spoke about it before the game. He made a couple of choices. Now, obviously, we heard. Obviously, I'd spoken to you. I think the boy Fabian Schär was definitely carrying a knock. Had been playing with an injury and stuff. So. And I think the boy Botman then, it just came down to maybe he's only just in the league and he's played a lot of football straight away and maybe didn't want to throw him into Anfield and stuff like that, put someone in like Jamal Lascelles and Dan Bourne who've been there and done that and 2 guys that had a good game, to be honest with you. So I think
Bourne was fantastic against Salah last
yeah,
night.
he was, and I think that they both did the manager. They served him well considering what he put on the line for them. I think Newcastle will get back on this again. If I'm honest, I think they were very unlucky last night. I think they'll be ready to go against Palace. Palace will put in a great performance again, but I just see Newcastle nicking this, and I'm gonna say 2-1 to the Derby.
Yep, Forest Bournemouth. This should be 3 points for Forest, shouldn't it?
This will be Forest's 3 points, absolutely. Because Bournemouth can't play like they played against Wolves and get results every week. That was Wolves, doing themselves a little bit of a disservice. I expect to see a few new names on the score sheet for Forest on Saturday. I expect the boy Brennan Johnson, who looked electric last weekend. I expect him to get on and score goals and stuff like that. That's where I'm at with it. I'm gonna say 3-1 Forest.
He might be a good shout for a fantasy team as well this week, would he?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And he's a good price.
Spurs versus Fulham.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that I don't think Spurs want right now. I think Fulham are in good form. They're putting in good performances and stuff like that. For all the points they've picked up, Spurs haven't been great yet. I think Fulham are making the game very, very difficult for a lot of teams. They're keeping it quite tight at the back, very narrow and stuff like that. And I think the boy Mitrovic is just plaguing teams. He really, really is. You see obviously Arsenal getting off the hook last week with them. I think Fulham are really going to put it up to Spurs again this week. But again, like the Arsenal game, I think Spurs will just nick this. I'm going Spurs. I'm about to score, and I think I'll go 2-1 Spurs.
Okay, yeah. Just to let you know, 88 minutes gone, 1-0 to Man United. Fred has just come on from Rashford. Ten Hag tightening things up there to see the game out at 1-0, I would imagine. United have been on the attack heavily as well during this half. Wolves versus Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton obviously coming off the back of a great result at home. I think Southampton will make this very, very difficult for Wolves. Wolves are at home. We'll expect to go out and pick up the victory, and the pressure will be on Wolves, and Southampton won't make it easy. I do tend to think Wolves are a much better team at home. I think they really get the crowd going there at Molineux and stuff like that. And I think Wolves might nick this. And I think they have a few new faces and stuff that might do a job and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go 2-1 to Wolves here. That's a close game though.
Yeah, I'm taking a draw. Yeah, I have some interesting bets here that I'll share with you and beat the bookie. Villa, Man City. It's Man City all the way, isn't it? This could be a problem for Villa, isn't it? And a problem for Stevie.
Well, listen, the games are coming thick and fast for Villa, and obviously this is a really, really tough game again. For Villa, they've gone from Arsenal now to City, and it's very, very difficult and stuff like that. I think City are going to have too much. The only small piece of or glimmer of hope I have for Aston Villa is that City kind of take their eye off the ball a little bit because of Champions League next week.
Yeah,
and maybe rest a couple. And I think if they do rest a couple, I think Villa might be able to get into the game. But if City send out Haaland and Foden and Alvarez and Mahrez, I think it's going to be a long night.
Imagine walking into the locker room and the big man on 2 back-to-back hat-tricks and saying, listen, we're thinking of resting you today with the Champions League. I'd say he'd put you through the dressing room door. That man just wants to play. He's on fire. What a signing, and we kind of knew, but we skirted around it because we didn't really want to believe it. We thought you
don't want to nail down that he's going to be as good as he is. Now you knew the likelihood was he was going to be pretty shit hot, and he has been. He's been unbelievable, and the scary thing is, this kid is 22 years of age.
Yeah,
he is going in 2 or 3 years. Because don't forget, at 22, he's probably still physically developing. At 25, this kid could be ridiculous.
Scary.
Absolutely ridiculous.
We said it in our group last night, didn't we? We were saying probably 45 goals, and we were saying, is that by Christmas? Scary, scary. Power, pace, cleverness, silky touch
His,
finish. He
I
has
gotta
it all.
say that I knew he had. I knew he was an amazing finisher. I knew some of the one touched up and the link up from Dortmund was very good. I knew he was a big physical lad. I knew he could head the ball. The one thing I have to hold my hand up and say I didn't think he had was the turn of pace that he has. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a turn of pace. I think it's a stride thing
Yeah.
because
And it's
he
also, did you
plays.
notice as well, it's also from a standing position. So he
Yeah,
switches off and then it's like that and he's
and
gone.
he's very clever because when he
Yeah,
switches off, he knows you switch off. And
yeah,
then when he gets that first step and a half ahead of you, you're gone.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
it's like, you,
flattened you.
yeah, it reminds
It's
me,
like it's
when you're,
like rope
you,
a dope. It's
yeah,
really clever.
yeah, when you're coaching kids as well and you get them to not face you and you want to do the turns left and the turns right from a standing jogging position and they
Yeah,
just take off. He's just unbelievable, power
yeah, he's
personified.
phenomenal. I'm so a massive fan of him. I absolutely hate the fact he's at City. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
somebody
absolutely.
somebody asked me the other day, who's your favorite footballer in the world at the minute? And I was like, Now I gotta say, I'm a massive fan of the kid Vinny Junior. Not just because he wrecked your Champions League dreams, but I just think the kid's phenomenal. Um, and then I was like, you know what? Who else? I was like Lewandowski. And then I was like, you know what? That kid Haaland is fucking amazing. I was like
Yeah.
he's right up there. And I'm like, and even the kids are like, gee, that kid Haaland. I'm like, do not ever ask for that blue jersey by Haaland because I'm telling you, be launched out his gaff.
Do you know what I was thinking? You know these elite sportsmen that you see, like Lance Armstrong sitting with his yellow jerseys, and you see Messi, of course, parading all his Ballon d'Ors and stuff like that. I had
Yeah,
visions of Haaland in a few years' time where he's sort of sitting in a library kind of study that he has in his big gaff, and it's just all these match day balls signed by the teams and stuff like that. Just these hat trick balls
yeah,
everywhere, like
yeah.
wallpaper. And it's just
How
scary.
how many will he get this year? Hat tricks. Now he's got two
Hat-tricks.
already. Many he gets? He
I,
get five.
I think he gets more. I think he's going to get I think double that. I
10
think
hat
he'll get.
tricks.
I think he'll get 10 hat
Whoa!
tricks. I'm telling you,
Holy
man. Tell you.
shit!
I'm telling you. Wait till you see. I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. Because remember, you've got the Champions League as well. Are you talking just in the league or overall?
Well. Listen, to be honest with you, I completely forgot about Champions League. He's not going to play Carabao Cup. We know that, and he won't play FA Cup until the later rounds, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they play, all right, he's got 38 league games. He's got 6 in the Champions League and plus 6 to get to the final. Then he's 12. He's a 50. If he plays 60 games, could he score 10 hat tricks? He
He only
absolutely
needs.
could,
What does he
couldn't
need? Eight
he?
more. 8 more.
He only needs 8 more. He needs one every 6.
You don't think he's
The,
capable of one every 6?
the only thing that could hurt this kid is
Injury or rotation?
injuries. Well,
Or
no, I don't even
rotation.
think rotation at the minute because I think,
Well,
like you
but
said,
if you take some of
I
the
think
games away,
Pep shits himself and you have to tell him he's not playing because I think
Yeah.
every goal means the world to this kid.
I'd
And
say
that
Pep sends
is
in one of the
the
coaches to tell
final
him.
whistle.
1-0 United.
1-0.
1-0 to the United. That has a ring to it now, like the Arsenal, doesn't it? It's starting to go that way, isn't it?
Listen, and I was talking to another United fan earlier on. Like in the last 3 games, we've played Liverpool at home, obviously, and then Southampton and Leicester both away. Now, if you'd have told me 4 weeks ago we were only going to concede once, I'd have said, ha ha ha, don't be so funny. Because obviously, when you look at the Brentford game, how things went. But I mean, De Gea, Dalot, Malacia, Varane, and our August player of the month, Lisandro Martinez, have been astoundingly good for us. Like, really, really good. To the point of surprise, even,
I know. I know. I know. I know. Shut
Here's a
up, I
question.
know.
Sorry,
Right.
I have a question for you now. Actually, while we're here,
Oh, go on.
we are now on 9 points and fifth in the league. Yeah,
Yeah, you're a point above us, aren't you?
we are.
We're on 8.
You're on 8, correct? You're
Yeah.
on 8, and Chelsea are on 7. Now, this is after 5 games, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because after 10 games,
5 to go, yeah.
there's 5 left. We're halfway there. Yeah,
Yeah.
halfway there. Are you still as confident as you were at the start?
I am, yeah.
That you are
Yeah,
that there
I am,
that
yeah.
there'll be at least.
Now, listen, I have no reason in the world to be confident at all. But I'm
I
telling you,
was gonna
I
say this,
have to.
and now I'm looking at it. We're only 2 points off Spurs.
I'll tell you, I'm not as confident so far as I don't think the Blues are going to do me a favour here. I think we're going to have to do it the hard way ourselves. That's the way I'm looking at it. But
But I mean, even
whatever.
if you go ahead of us and Spurs drop behind us, that's still 2, and then you end up wearing that beautiful Man United jersey. Oh, the
Stop.
excitement!
Stop. That's the last 2 games on Sunday. Brighton versus Leicester and Man United versus Arsenal. Probably a win for
Brighton,
Brighton, yeah.
absolutely. This is Brighton all day long and twice on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think Leicester.
That
I'm
could be the
gonna
end of
make the call.
Rodgers.
I'm gonna make the call now. I don't think Rodgers takes charge of that game.
You think he's gone already?
I think he's gone already, and I'll tell you why I think he's gone. I watched him earlier on as the goal went in, and did you see his reaction after the goal?
No.
So his reaction after the goal was just one of utter disgust. But you know what his real issue was? He looked at the square pegs he had in the round holes. He looked at Wilfred and Didi playing at centre back and went, "What the fuck is this? What chance have I
Yeah.
got here?" You know,
Do you know
I've
something? He
sold
had a
me
huge
keeper.
smile. He had a huge smile on his face at the start of the game as well, and Ten Hag looked more serious, which I thought was kind of an interesting conundrum, really, considering the position of both managers.
Well, he I tell you, when he seen the goal go in, he was not a happy bunny. I think he looked and just thought, everything I've done at this club, and they've just sold me best centre half from underneath me. You know.
Yeah. Let's
Plus, obviously, Casper's left the building and stuff like that. They haven't brought lots of recruits in the door. Yes, they're going to get the boy Pays, I think it is, from Ream. And there's possibly another one coming in, Jeremy Boga from Atalanta. But I think he's been done up a little bit here, Rodgers, and he looked a bit pissed off. And I think, you know what I think he might do?
Yeah.
I think Rodgers might leave Leicester rather than be sacked, because I think he's being clever here, and I think he knows if he gets out soon, he could land that Villa job.
He ain't leaving without the bump. Don't worry about that. I'm telling you, do you know what I'm going to forecast for this weekend? I think we might lose 2 managers this weekend. Let's see what happens.
Do you think Stevie and Brendan both exit the building?
I think they could both exit the building, yeah.
Right, and do you think Rodgers gets the Villa job?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be surprised, because this whole, Premier League managerial thing, most of it is based on failure. They get rewarded for failure all the time. When you look at the appointments, it's crazy. You get sacked out of one job because you're an absolute disaster, and the next week you have a brand new job. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it. But yeah, Brighton on that one. Man United, Arsenal, the Super Sunday.
Really, really looking forward to this. If I'm honest, I kind of feel like we owe Arsenal one from the back end of last season at the Emirates, when we were in a run of bad form and didn't put our best foot forward when we had a chance to grab that Champions League spot. And I think obviously that's 3 wins on the bounce, which it's been a long time since we had 3 wins on the bounce. 2 clean sheets on the road, away from home, Southampton and Leicester. 2 1-0 victories. I think Arsenal are going to cause us lots of problems, but I think Arsenal are still very Arsenal at the back. I still think they're giving away opportunities, and I think what we have, I think it'll trouble Arsenal a lot more than what they've played against so far this season, and they haven't necessarily swept teams away. They've picked up wins. 2-1 last night against Villa, 2-0 against Palace on the opening night, 2-1 against Fulham and stuff like that. I think the Arsenal bandwagon comes to a halt on Sunday at Old Trafford, and we beat them 3-1.
Nice. Big call. Interesting. It'll certainly be an indication and a benchmark for the Arteta ins and the Arteta outs. But I would preface that by saying, as you said, there is a number of injuries there, isn't it? Didn't they lose Odegaard last night and stuff like that? And also,
yeah, there's a couple. I think they're also talking about Ramsdale possibly not making it.
Yeah, Ramsdale and Odegaard, which two so far this season, 2 huge players for them. So let's see what happens. But we know if it doesn't go right, the Arteta out brigade will be out in full force, all or nothing, as they say. Right, let's get into Beat the Bookie, where we do our picks. Right, I'll start with our resident referee, who's going to be joining us shortly to see out the last hour. Oh, maybe he's jumped on already, is he? Oh, here he is. He's going to give us picks and all. Look.
All right, lads.
All right, there's another happy Man United fan there. We're just starting Beat the Bookie, so you can actually give us. You can give us your picks if you want, or do you want me to do it? I might have.
Well, you can do it, but I will say I had to change them slightly today over a transfer earlier on.
Oh, okay. So do you want to do them then? Your ones.
Elvis has entered the building.
Oh,
right. Well, let's start then. We'll start then with your anytime goal scorers. So we went with Ivan Toney, which I think is a great shout this weekend if you were listening to the show. Darren also mentioned as well a great shout for our fantasy teams this week as well. Brennan Johnson. Kulichevsky, that's his treble coming in at 18-1 nearly. That is a tidy treble, isn't it? And they're all anytime goal scorers. Kulichevsky, Brennan Johnson, and Ivan Toney. Yeah, I think, Darren, we might lump on that actually. Might have a look at that one actually.
It's just a little one I came up with earlier.
Then we have another. This is your Darren. You'll like this one. This is his.
That could be some nice figure spending money, Noel.
Yes, absolutely. Or we might even go for a nice meal on
Sunday.
Let
me guess the championship one. Come on,
Greg.
Mark, you give me. Mark, you give me the teams.
Right,
you give me the teams.
Right. So, you obviously know who the last team is, right? So I have Blackburn.
Last one's Blackpool. Right, Blackburn, yeah, okay, so it has to be Ben Burton Diaz.
No.
Oh, no, it's not. I'll tell you why it's not, because he's probably ending up at Everton tonight, isn't he?
Well,
is it Everton or Fulham?
He could be.
He looks like he's going to end up somewhere. I actually, do you know what? Not to cut you off, I only want to mention something about that kid, because I saw him last night. He got the winner for Blackburn, and they interviewed him after the game. Now, he's already told Blackburn he won't sign a new deal. He's out in the summer and stuff like that. But what a professional, the way he spoke. Your man said, something about the move. He said, listen, he says, I play for Rovers, he said, and I got to play for this badge. And he said, I got to score goals and help this team win games. And I just thought, the kid knows he's on the way out the door. Wouldn't mention a word. Kept talking about the jersey. Kept talking about Rovers. Gave the fans and the club an awful lot of respect. And I just thought, in an age where footballers don't always cover themselves in glory, I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And really listen, because of his form at Blackburn, he's got an international cap out of it as well,
And then all that good stuff gets washed away then when we hear he might be signing for Everton, yeah.
He could also end up at Fulham. I think they're both looking at money on the table from, aren't they? And I think it might be down to him then where he ends up. But I mean, if you're playing for Blackburn Rovers, likelihood is you can still stay in keep the same house and go to Everton, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. It's only up the road.
It's
he's done really well there, and listen, Blackburn started off well. The last 2 or 3 games haven't gone too well, apart from obviously last night. But he's been unbelievable for them this season.
It's not Ben Diaz, so it's got to be Sam Gallagher.
It is indeed.
Correct.
Lovely, grand.
So next one is Luton Town against Wigan. Luton at home.
Adebayo.
No.
Cornick hasn't played low this season. Who have we got?
It's Mr. Woodrow.
Who have we got?
Collie Woodrow.
All right, yeah. Okay, Collie, yeah. Pretty good.
And then obviously the last one was Blackpool, but I had to change it late in the day because of a certain transfer. Forest. Olympiacos.
No.
Yeah.
LJB left the building, huh?
Oh, stop. Well, listen, he's going to be the best player to play for Olympiacos since Rivaldo, so it's all right. Don't worry about it. But I have another Blackpool player.
The boy The boy Daniel Podence used to play there. He's a tasty player, that kid. I like him.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Very
we
good.
have a Blackpool player, Huddersfield away on Sunday. And it is...
That'd be a tough game, by the way.
Well, Huddersfield haven't gotten off
be-
to a great start, in fairness.
They haven't, but they started scoring a couple of goals recently as well. They're missing the two boys that are gone to Forest, Harry Tafolo and Lewis
And
O'Brien.
Wallace. Oh, what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
man.
very
Was
good
Jed
footballers.
Wallace there for a while as well?
He
But
was Millwall.
There's a
Millwall,
lot of
that's
teams.
it, yeah.
There's a lot of teams missing players that have gone to Forest.
There really
They have
is.
the
at this
make-
stage.
they have the makings of
What's
the
it,
makings of an
22?
NFL team at this stage.
I reckon
21,
with him gone, you've got Jerry Yates.
No. I've gone for...
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Hey!
So
Takes the
the
penalty,
treble,
Gary.
Sam Gallagher, Woodrow, and Medine is 47-1.
Not bad.
Big L price, in fairness, like.
Yeah,
The middle
yeah.
one's
And
11.
they're all
the middle one's
strikers as
11
well.
to
lads.
4, isn't it? The middle one's 11 to 4. That's
Yeah.
a big price for a striker, isn't it?
Big
these days?
price.
They're
Yeah.
all strikers, yeah. They're all
3
strikers.
to 1.
So,
Neil.
and then you can round off my last bet there, Cuz, if you want.
Yeah.
For
It's
the
your Man
United
United one, is it?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the Man United one. Man United versus Arsenal. He's gone for 2-1 to United. Correct
Right.
score. And Marcus Rashford, anytime goal scorer. 26-1.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, not too
And
bad.
there's another one I didn't send to you, Cuz, but it's evens money, right? But it's a decent bet. It's Dazzler and Niall to be both arrested this weekend in the UK. Even money. And the show to be sponsored by UK Border Force next week. So there you go.
We're just advising people now in advance. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, if you see this channel go live, ignore it. Switch it off. It's not real.
Do not come in. Do not give us any airtime.
Me and Darren
it,
walking
you have
around
to.
a hotel room in boxer shorts with a camera on will not be a pretty sight at 3 in the morning. Trust me.
And then bring
Trust me
Morris in
now.
live from Amsterdam as well.
Oh my God. We got the makings of a Guy Ritchie movie at this case.
Yeah,
At this
right.
stage.
And Morris will pop in with chicks with dicks and everything. It'll be fucking. It'll be way out there.
And he won't be even in Amsterdam, he'll be still in Kilkenny.
That's if we haven't bet him to it. Kane, if you want to pop on, hang on while I drop the link in there for you in the comments. That's the link, Kane. If you want to come on and share your bets with us. That's the link, Kane, if you need it. If you want to pop on and share your bets with us. Haaland, 5-2, 2 or more goals to send Gerrard packing. Yeah,
Can I just open up with, are we going to get to see Haaland versus Mings? This could be the thing of fucking nightmares. This
Did
is
you
what
see,
nightmares are made of. Oh my God.
Did you see your man what's his name, Darren Farley, you know, the guy who does the impressions and stuff like that today?
Yeah.
He was doing, how are you, David? Good to see you there. Absolute gentleman. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, pal.
He did a skit today, and it was Gerrard, right? And he says, Stevie, he says, what about Tyrone Mings? And he goes, I found a club for him. And he goes, what club is it? And he goes, it's a 9-iron across the back of the head.
Yeah.
So good.
He's
Absolutely
not fired
brilliant.
off, I'll tell you.
Check him out. He's absolutely brilliant at some of them. He had me in stitches today, this deadline day. He's doing all the matches.
Haaland will have him on toast.
Mm.
Tyrone, Titanic, Mings will be absolutely sunk on Sunday. That is a fact.
Do you know
Oh
something? The
my
minute
God.
you said it, I was thinking a big man who can move and a big man who can't even turn. And I was
You might as well
thinking,
have Tyrone from Curry out there. Never mind Tyrone Mings.
Might as well be trying to chase him
you know
down
what?
in an 18-wheeler.
Do you know what? And here's something I thought about, because obviously United eventually will come up against City and Haaland. Hopefully at that stage he has a calf problem and he can't play. That'd be just terrific. I'd love that.
Yeah.
But if he does play, right? And I know people are gonna just say, is this lad fucking for real? Is there a train of thought which says you've got to play Maguire as part of a back five where you at least let him go against them in an aerial duel? Because don't get me wrong, like the two lads have done amazing, but I don't know if I want to see Martinez mark Haaland.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I sent Niall a video earlier.
Yeah,
He'd be
I
grabbing
think
him.
I
He'd
saw
be
it.
grabbing him around the knee. Was this the
Yeah.
one where your man said
This
your man
is
flying?
Austin
Quality.
Powers.
Yeah, it's quality.
Yeah.
And you
like-
know, a lot of those are so unfair to the kid as well. He's an exceptional baller. So
He really
his
is.
size
I
doesn't
would
stop
be-
him at all. Like, you know.
I would be fine seeing him on the left of a back five that day. As the
probably
left
will
side
go
centre
for
back, sorry, with Varane on the right and Maguire in the middle, just to try
David.
and hold Haaland off.
What a legend. Speaking of Guy Ritchie, you'd be better off with Tyrone from Snatch. Absolutely classic.
Spot on, David.
And he wasn't too clever either, was he, Tyrone from Snatch?
Oh, remember when he's
Jesus
trying to
Christ.
park the car into the space and he says there's not enough room, and your man says he'd park a jumbo jet in that spot. Tell the dog to stop chewing on me
And the
seats.
dog,
It's a
yeah, the
robbed
dog is
car.
faulty.
It's a robbed car. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'll run through my bets. Absolutely quality. I'll start with my Liverpool bet builder. I've gone with Liverpool to win, both teams to score, over 2.5 goals, and Nunez anytime, 3-1. I wouldn't be throwing a huge amount of money on it, but I have to stay true to my
Got to
colours.
be honest, for all the bleeding, for all of what you have to have done on that bet, that's a fucking shocking bet, isn't it?
No, but listen, the odds are crazy at the moment. Look at the odds for the new.
to win, over 2.5,
Yeah.
both teams to score.
Hang on.
Like, there's
Wait,
four
wait,
legs
wait.
in that, and you're getting.
You're better off just going Van Dijk anytime scorer. Like you might get a goal from a corner.
Wait, I'll tell you.
100%.
Think of the odds for the Newcastle game. Liverpool were 3-10 on, right? The draw was 9-2, and Newcastle were 8-1 and 10-1 in some places. And I was going,
You were
that
10 on
is
Paddy Power because I
madness.
checked before the game, remember?
Yeah,
No way.
exactly. Crazy.
Jeez.
Crazy. Now, as a panned out, Liverpool got the win, but seriously, like, it's just, you know. Darren, just for you, I put another Saturday draw bet together, a little treble. I went with Brentford and Leeds, Chelsea, West Ham, and Wolves and Southampton, all three to draw. What do you reckon?
That's a great bet. I'd say 35s.
45-1. Has to be worth a tenner of anyone's money, doesn't it?
That's
Absolutely.
a lovely bet. Yeah.
And I do
Well,
have a
proof
good record,
already.
and I do have a good record in draw treble bets. Just saying. The Saturday handicap I went with Liverpool
the one
minus.
you've got up in 2 years.
Hey, when it matters. Liverpool -1, Spurs -1, and Man City -1. 8-1 for that treble. The handicap, all -1s. Not bad. Not bad. It's my own team that will concern me more than the others.
And that's the early kickoff on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the lunchtime Saturday. Yeah,
Hate
Down
betting on those
30s,
early
down
games. Yeah.
I went with.
Will we be up in time for 12:30 on Saturday?
We will be probably standing in a queue waiting to meet Bret Hart. I would imagine at that time. I'd imagine.
The Witherspoons? No way.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah.
The Cardiff screw job. I did
with a little ramekin full of beans in one hand.
Little Canadian flag. I went with a goal scorer any time as well. I went with Nunez.
Right, come on, give us the teams. Give us the team.
You want the teams? Okay, well I went Liverpool, Man City, Spurs.
Nunez.
Yeah.
Foden. Son.
I did Son.
Have we got all three
I
so
put
far?
Son in there. Yeah. No,
Was it
Haaland.
Foden?
Haaland's in there. No, Haaland.
Sorry,
Newcastle.
what price was Haaland any time? Was he like 1 to 3?
Yeah. He'd have to be.
I don't think it's quite that bad, but it's pretty close to it anyway. But you have to have a banker in these things. This will be the day you go out and you won't get any. And then I rounded out with Newcastle and Brentford as well. And I mean, Newcastle and Brentford speak for themselves. Isaac and Tony.
Isaac and
Nunez,
Tony, yeah.
Nunez, Haaland, Son, Isaac and Tony, 36-1.
It's all right.
Bad.
It's not bad
Yeah,
considering one's an absolute banker.
Now,
Better
I'm
than your
gonna,
Liverpool one, anyway.
yeah, well, I'm gonna do one to
Way
counteract
better.
that.
Jesus
I
Christ.
did an Arsenal bet builder as well, Darren. I did an Arsenal.
Here.
You did an
Here.
Arsenal bet builder.
Yeah,
Here.
because we have to have a bit of fun coming home on the boat, yeah. So I did.
Shove it up your pie hole, will you?
I'm giving you something to
Fuck's
slag
sake.
me about. Relax, something to slag me about.
Yeah,
Hang on.
I tell you
Oh.
what, you're gonna look funny with
Oh.
ketchup in your eyeballs.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here's trouble. Morris, I'm just saying to the lads, I did an Arsenal bet builder for Sunday as well. I wouldn't normally delve into another team, but just for the banter on the boat coming home, I went with Arsenal. Yeah, absolutely. I went with Arsenal to win, both teams to score, over 2.5 goals, and a penalty to be scored, 9-1.
Yeah, I can't see us winning on Sunday, to be honest with you, but I don't know.
Morris, don't be putting that Arteta out jacket back on now.
Yeah, it's the terrible record there. I'm afraid just a little bit of a hoodoo ground for us, except for the FA Cup when old Danny Welbeck came up with the goods.
When it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
Little Danny.
I had a massive row on the opening game of the season. I certainly told Niall this. I don't know if I told the rest of you. Obviously United were playing Brighton, and there was the United fans. He's in the row behind me. He's a real mouthy outfit. He runs a bus from the Midlands or something, and he feels like he's the fucking Bible on Man United. And he's like, I really hold it in my nose for Louis van Gaal. I'm like, why? He sold Danny Welbeck, and I was like, and I'm listening to this, and he's going on and going on. I was like, I just turned around, and even my young fella was looking at me. I was like, he was fucking shy. I said, he was absolute dog shit. And he says, yeah, but he brought in Falcao to replace him. And I said, he was one of the premier strikers in world football at that stage. What are you smoking, you crackpot? So anyway, your man turns around and says, yeah, but he always, you don't sell your own, he says. And then he says, he always is a good game against us. Of course, he looks like fucking Ronaldo against us. And they beat us 2-1. And I'm walking out, and your man's still harping in the 89th minute. Told you, Danny fucking Welbeck. And I'm like, I'm going to in this.
He did play well that day, though, to be fair.
He's won the match that day. But
yeah.
The only other game I remember playing well is, remember A2? Do you remember that game?
A2, yeah.
I remember it well.
Your man says, yeah, it only seems like you can play at Old Trafford when he's in an away shirt. I was like, it's no use to us. Jesus.
I'm only here, lads, to wish you the best of luck this weekend, because I'm busy. I've got shit to do tonight, but I just said I seen the stream link there and I came in and I said, have a fucking great time in Cardiff anyway.
Absolutely. And you have a safe trip over to Amsterdam as well, and the Netherlands and stuff, yeah.
Lads, go easy. Don't
do that, and we wouldn't do, Morris, which is fucking nothing.
I might video call you at some point, maybe on Saturday.
It's like a game of roulette, Morris. Keep out of the black and in the red. It's all good.
Stay in the red, baby.
They say, once you go black, you never go back.
There's a window for everyone over there, man.
I'll tell you.
We're doing an episode on Niall's pod days in the pod, huh?
Oh, God. I had my stag in Amsterdam, lads.
No,
out there. Had my stag
Morris,
in Amsterdam, yeah.
You know where I had my stag?
Where? Kilkenny.
Good old County Kilkenny.
Hey.
I thought he was going to say barcode.
No. Down to
That's where I met my wife, excuse you. Met my wife.
Hey, Darren. While I'm here, I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the man signing for Chelsea, the man that you absolutely hate, Aubameyang. Or have you discussed that already?
No, but sure, we can't have any opinion on him. It sounds like he's not going to play till the second week in October.
No, but what do you think of the signing?
I think that Arsenal tattoo will go lovely with that blue jersey.
I think it's like pouring lighter fluid on a fucking burning building.
Yeah. He might bring the best out of Mason Mount.
On a positive note, he knows what the traffic in London is like, so he might get to the ground on time.
You'll have to get an apartment very close.
Not in that poxy fucking gold fucking Lambo he won't. What an absolute chav.
The one that they wouldn't even rob, the multicoloured one.
Tell me you came from a village with no running water without telling me you came from a village without running water. that car
Morris,
straight away.
Morris, tell us what's been the reaction in the Arsenal fan base so far?
Well, I'm just expecting when we play them in November for him to score like the winning goal and do a big somersault right over Arteta.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm expecting.
I hope Arteta's on the line, and as he goes up, he just chins him and just
Close
take
line.
that, you absolute imp.
Comes flying out of the tunnel in the Lambo and starts doing donuts on the pitch in it and everything and all, yeah.
He is a fucking donut.
The one thing about it, though, lads, is cancelling his contract, giving him to Barcelona, who are in all kinds of shit, then Barcelona actually making money from it and sending them back to London rivals. It's a bit fucking ridiculous, really.
Absolutely.
Marco Alonso gone the other way, isn't he?
Yeah. Should have had a sell-on clause.
We paid Barcelona today. We paid Barcelona today. Here's Hector Bellerin. There you go.
They're doing you some favours, aren't they?
Yeah. We're not getting that in return. But anyway.
Oh, hang on. We might have to go on tour. David's having mine in Amsterdam. I presume that's next year, is it?
Yeah, that's
next year for David, is it?
Next year. Yeah, must be.
Oh,
and actually,
David,
myself and David are going on a little trip together.
Oh.
We're going to the Manchester Derby in January.
Nice. Very nice.
We're going to the Manchester Derby in January. We are, so yeah.
David, I just want to give you a piece of friendly advice. Every time this lad goes over to Old Trafford, they lose. And I'm just putting that out there.
You should go to an away game then. Go to the Etihad. Easy, get a ticket.
Well, we'll be all right. Danny Welbeck won't be playing for City, Dazzler.
Thank God. Jesus Christ.
Right, I'm going to bounce out because I have a show there at 10:30. I'll fill you in
pardon the pun on the old Amsterdam flight. I'm going to skip all out of here as well.
I'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Take it easy, Morris. Right, let's talk transfers. Dazzler, are you jumping off for a bit? Or are you staying on for a bit? Or what are you doing?
I am jumping off for now. I may be able to join us again. I'm not 100% sure. I have to vacate the bedroom now because it's that time of the night. My wife has to go to sleep because she's a teacher and she needs to be up in the morning to teach all the little kiddies how to do the finger paint and all that shit. So I need to get out of the dodge here, yeah.
This is not goodbye for good. This is just goodbye for now.
This is it. Well, I mean, I'm going to see you in a few hours now.
You are.
What time is going over?
I'm meeting at 6:45 in the morning.
Darren wants me there at 5:30 for an 8 o'clock sale.
Down Dublin Port.
They don't have the same problems at the airport.
Dazzler, quick question. You know when you're coming out of Holyhead and you're coming out of Wales, do they still have that little house on the island in the river?
They do. It's still there,
Is it? No way, man.
Still there. Yeah, it looks great. I don't know if we're going to go that way because that bridge, I think, links it across to, say, West England. Whereas I think we're going to go the other way. Yeah. We go south when we come out. Yeah. And we've about a 4.5 hour drive from Holyhead.
Yeah. It's about AKA 6 little chefs.
No, in fairness, because Holyhead's right up north and then obviously Cardiff's down south. So
we're stopping at Swansea on the way.
What else, Swansea?
Tell
Joe Allen I said hello.
You looking for an A in your geography project or something like that?
We're going to a nice figure warehouse, aren't we?
Oh,
we are. Awesome. Yeah, we're going.
Please tell me he's going to Barry Island. Please tell me he's going to Barry Island.
We're not going to Barry Island. We're going to Toys and Masks is the name of it. Now, I don't know what kind of toys and I don't know what kind of masks.
However, I think Morris has gone to one of them this weekend as well.
So we're going to be there, Toys and Masks. Maybe we'll go live for Toys and Masks.
The toys that Morris,
lads.
We'll probably do something. Yeah, I have the stuff set up for the phone and stuff. That I was thinking we were going to do a bit of karaoke. Actually, we might release an upper tier album maybe on Spotify or something like that. We'd be like
the backing singers.
We'd be like Wayne's World doing Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that with the boys.
If you need any Elvis, you know where I am, lads.
We might be actually. Yeah, we might do like a little video and we'll send you the link and get you in and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Right, I'm out, lads.
Right, take care.
See you
in a bit.
Take
it easy.
Take it easy.
There we go. And then there was two. let's talk transfers.
Can I ask you? I'm going to
Yeah.
flip it and ask you, what do you think of Liverpool's activity today? I thought you might have signed 2. I know you got the loan signing of Arta from Juventus, but how do you feel?
This is exactly how I feel. Liverpool ain't signing anymore. It's shocking, Kenneth. Absolutely shocking. Welcome to the show. It's just I don't know. It started off with a wave of good intent. Well, no, actually, it started off bad because we were with Tchouaméni. And he went off to Real Madrid. And then, I don't know, in the time he went off to Real Madrid, I wonder did he take John Henry's wallet with him and keep the money, because all of a sudden the money for a midfielder that we were promised last year dried up and suddenly vanished. Then we signed Nunez, which I thought was a decent signing. You know, I think he'll be an exceptional talent in the league. I just think he needs to get a bit acclimatized to the league and its ways and stuff like that, to say the least. And I'm sure he won't have an easier time either at Goodison either.
No.
I'm sure they'll pop him and probe him and stuff like that as well. But, you know, you never know. If we have a strong enough captain, he might be able to advise the guy on the pitch and stuff like that to avoid these things.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah. But overall,
one that can see how much of a need you are of a centre midfielder. And then, obviously, Arta came in today, but I don't know. It just kind of reeked a bit of desperation, you know. That's why.
3 midfielders we need. 3 midfielders, not 1, not 2, 3 midfielders.
Because I was texting Keno about it earlier, and he was saying the same. You know, he would have liked maybe 2, at least 2 today.
Yeah, how you doing, Kane? Short-term solution for a long-term problem. Open heart surgery need on that midfield. Yeah, I called it last week.
100%.
Certainly, it needs absolutely open heart surgery. I'm pretty disappointed, and I'm not sure what to make of it. There's a lot of talk about, well, where does the problem lie? And, you know, you seen Klopp's press conference there the other day where he's talking about, you know, do I bring players in, and then does that affect the development of other players that are there at the moment and all this kind of thing? But look, we're there to try and win a league and a Champions League, you know what I mean? We're not there to.
Well, he looks frustrated as well. Do you know what I mean? He wants the players in, but he has to protect the owners as well, it looks like as well. So
he does, but I think what's happening now, because it's a flip-flop back and forward in the press conference and stuff like that, I think people are kind of like, you know, they're getting a little bit sick of the protection that he's affording FSG and stuff like that. And I know he can't come out and just throw them under the bus and stuff like that. Kenneth, that's a great shout. I said it the other day. If anyone's seen my Twitter the other day on the upper tier, I said if we sign any midfielder with a heartbeat and a bit of creativity in the range of 22 to 26, we'll improve our midfield. Doesn't matter who it is. Tielemans is a mad one, Kennedy. He's available there now. He was available at 16 million. He played tonight, so obviously he's not going anywhere. He's going to hold out either till January, where he can negotiate his own deal with clubs come January, being the last 6 months of his contract or whatever it is. I don't get it. We were looking at signing this boy Tielemans last year, and we were going to pay 40 or 50 million for him. The same as Basuma. And there's Basuma goes to Spurs for 25 million. Tielemans is available for 15 million and no one's touching him, so I just don't understand it. Maybe we're holding out to get him on the cheap or something like that, and maybe we've already done some sort of
last year the contract, isn't it?
Huh?
It's his last year of his contract this
year. January he'll be able to negotiate, yeah. He'll be within 6 months of his contract and stuff like
that. Maybe get him for free then next summer, but
yeah, it's all part of the master plan. Bellingham 2023 incoming to smash the world record transfer fee. Kane, I can categorically tell you now, and if I'm wrong, come on the show, FSG are not going to pony out 100 plus for a single player. They just won't do it. And with that wage structure, and with this guy going to go off to the World Cup and absolutely light up Qatar, his wages is going to be through the roof. The fee is going to be through the roof, and every team under the sun is going to want to sign this guy. He's unbelievable.
Dortmund will sell him next summer.
He's definitely for sale. He's definitely for sale next summer. But I just look, they're telling us this year. Last year they told us we were going to get a midfielder this year, and they didn't do it. Last year we were supposed to get a midfielder, and they signed Kanate and stuff like that. So look, I wouldn't believe a word out of them at the moment, being honest. I'm just winding you up. FSG won't spend 100 quid. Never mind 100 million.
On the Keno.
Spot on, Kane. You can read my mind. I know, yeah. God, good Lord.
Shells have more of a chance of signing them than Liverpool.
Kane, they'll be thinking that's 4 midfielders. That's they're thinking that they're signing Jude Bellingham and probably some of his brothers as well. I heard
And
his
that's
brother
giving
is.
James Milner a new contract.
I heard his brother's a decent player as well. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
he's coming.
no
He's coming up
joking
through the
aside.
ranks. Yeah. He's coming up through the ranks. He's with Birmingham as well, isn't he?
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
he's playing at underage or something, isn't it, or something like that?
I think
but he
he's
looks
16.
really, really impressive.
I think he's 16, but he's doing really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe the 100 million is for him, and the add-on is the brother, the bolt-on, maybe or something. Yeah. You know when they talk about add-ons in the contract, the add-ons is the bro.
Yeah, I take it too, right?
But it has. It's really been disappointing. I looked at your man Arthur Mello today, and look, I'm happy that we're bringing someone in, but this guy has quite an injury record as well. I'm not going to dwell on it and stuff like that, but you know, he's missed games.
It's like we got Varane in, you know, you take a risk, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, you're egg in your face. But
see, the problem for us at the moment is we have a full ER room as it is. You know what I mean? So I don't need another Ox. I don't need another Keita. I don't need another Thiago. With all disrespect, last 5-6 games goes out, plays another 5-6 games, goes out. We can't afford that now. If we brought this guy in and this is what happens, he's going to end up like the hologram Ben Davis that we signed to play in defence, and then we still played midfielders there. So, yeah, it's been a very disappointing window, and especially at a time where you see, and I can bring it up here now, this has been a record transfer window for the Premier League. If you see down the bottom there, 2022, it's 1.67 billion and 680 million has come back in terms of sales. So literally they've spent about $1 billion, and I'm sure that's going to rise because there's obviously other ones to come in on top of that and stuff like that as well. So like it's been a massive window and stuff like that, but what really, really, really grinds my gears at the moment, and I accept that, you have to run your club a certain way and stuff like that. This has been the spenders there. Obviously Chelsea, I think, are out in front at the moment, and again, they're adding to it as we speak. But Nottingham Forest are second, like, you know what I mean? And we're way down the line here, way down the line.
Down there now.
We're kind of middle of the road here, which is my biggest concern, you know what I mean? Under the 100 million. And not only take that into account, if you look at the 100 million mark, and I don't normally talk about net spend, I generally don't talk about spend at all. I talk about players out and players in, and I did a graphic a few weeks ago on it. The players, when you look at the players that we've lost, and you look at the players we've brought in, there's an argument that we're probably a weaker team overall than we were last season. At a time where I know we only lost the league by a point, but whether you lose the league by a point or by 10 points, you lose the league. We came up short in the Champions League as well. We knew the issues that we were facing. We knew what we had to do to strengthen. It was fairly obvious from June and May that we needed a midfielder or two. And we've just dragged our heels on it. And I think our net spend at the moment is something like about 5 or 6 million when I looked at it the other day. With what we've sent out to what we've brought in. We've certainly recouped the Nunez money and stuff like that. But when you look at what we've taken out of the squad, you know, the Origis, the Mane is obviously huge. I mean, not just for his goals, but for his work rate. We've taken out Taki, Origi, Mane, Neco Williams. Who's I know he had a bit of a howler there the other night, but he's been absolutely sensational for Nottingham Forest. And look, just for that elbow smash on Richarlison after they took him out and all, he was worth it just for that. But yeah, that was just it's just been a hard one when you look at it and stuff like that, and you see some of the players that have gone out, and then you see what's come in. And like the talk of trying to find solutions within the squad, and then you look at the bench that was out there. Look at the bench that we had out against Bournemouth. Look at the bench that we had out against Newcastle last night and stuff like that. And then you look at Man City. I said it last night. Man City take Haaland off and they bring on Kevin De Bruyne.
Listen, they could fill 3 teams. City could. Do you know what I mean? And I had this conversation with Craig, my brother-in-law, earlier. Like I was saying about Arsenal, and he was saying Arsenal really have a strong 11, but they don't have strength of depth either. But I think they're slightly stronger than Liverpool. I don't know how you feel now after, say, another half an hour to go on the transfer deadline or whatever. Where would you see Liverpool finishing at this moment in time?
I think at the moment, looking at current form, and depends how your man Artur comes in and gets on, and how quickly we can start get players back. I think 2 or 3 players are ready to come back nearly.
Yeah.
I think Thiago's close, Curtis Jones is close,
I
and
think he's a week or two away, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think Jota's back in training from tomorrow or something like that. If we can get those guys back, that will make a huge difference. And if we can keep them fit as well. But my biggest concern at the moment is we've slipped up so much already, and any more slip ups, and the likelihood is we're in a top 4 race. That's what I believe. I don't think we're going to be in a title race. I think Man City are going to go from strength to strength. They're still signing players today, even. You know what I mean? And if you look at the business that's being done, and I said it already, if you look at Man City, they got rid of Jesus, they got rid of Raheem Sterling, they got rid of Zinchenko. Look at how they've strengthened on the players that they've brought in. They're stronger this year. If you look at Liverpool at the moment, who's trying to bridge that gap to catch up with City and try and go above and beyond them, you know, we've started off terrible this season. We've had a whole, 10, 11 injuries or something like that. A bench that's absolutely depleted. And a squad at the moment and a team at the moment that's flattering to deceive and looks very unmotivated, I would say. And I firmly believe, I think there's issues going on in the background. I looked at it last night and I said it to Dazzler, if you look at the likes of Van Dijk in the tunnel before he comes out and stuff like that, it looks like it's the last place he wants to be. Just looking at his body language and his facials and all
you
that.
Could see it spilling out onto the pitch as well, because obviously Milner and Van Dijk had that little bust up in Old Trafford and stuff like that, and come here, the reason I was asking you, it's not a little dig, but I just think at this stage now, it's like I said, with 25 minutes ago, it's going to be a settled squad between now and January. But I think this January is going to be harder to get players in because of the timing of the World Cup. It's going to be harder than ever, because obviously it's hard enough in January to get players in and settle them in. But I think with the time and dates of the World Cup this year, it's going to be even harder. So, for clubs to kind of bring players in, I just feel a lot of it's going to be done in the summer.
Yeah. Plus, you're going to play that. You're going to pay that World Cup tax. Let's suppose a player goes out there that you're targeting, someone that you want. We said it with Jude Bellingham. Let's suppose they light up the World Cup and have a great World Cup, and you're going to see a lot of young players do that. Their fees and their costs and their wages is just going to shoot through the roof. Exactly. And we already, yourself, and doing business in January, we already get roasted in January doing business if you're looking to buy players, because people know that you're under pressure. You know what I mean? So 100%. It's a real weird one. It's a real conundrum to kind of take and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I just think if you wanted to do your business, I think we were shrewd at times in doing our business early. I think they tried to butcher in the Luis Diaz signing as well as part of the summer plan, but we triggered it early and all this kind of the Spurs and all. And I'm just not having it. I don't want to let them off the hook, In some cases, they're brilliant owners and stuff like that. I know they protect the club in terms of finances and stuff like that. Remember, they bought this club on the steps of a court when we were going bust. So I understand some of the apprehension and stuff like that. But you got to sometimes put your hand in your pocket and say, listen, are we going to try and show a bit of ambition here? Because I really believe at the end of the day, it's Klopp's legacy that's getting damaged here, plus some of the top players. I mean, you got to remember, in Virgil van Dijk, we have one of the best defenders in the world. And, he's getting older. Thiago's getting older. Fabinho's getting older. You know what I mean? Hendo's getting older. He'll be done probably after this year or next year. Milner, who's getting older. All these players are getting older. And what they're saying is they're not having a whole lot to show for it. Runners up again in the league by a point. Okay, we won the 2 domestic cups, but then runners up again in the Champions League where we couldn't just see it out against Real Madrid, and we know how good Real Madrid are. But we should have had enough with the quality and the talent that we were there. We know that they played a couple of players injured. I'm sure Thiago was injured when he played, so was Fabinho, but we had no choice. We had to put them in. And I just think it's so unfair for Klopp's legacy at Liverpool to end, to have one league and one Champions League. I think it would be a sad indictment on the club and the owners and stuff like that. That's it. Now I know he has the domestic cups and he's won everything that he can win and stuff like that. But the real true legends, the real true managers are the ones that go again and go again and go again. And we have been there or thereabouts. But again, every year, when you're there or thereabouts, it's only one more signing is all you need to make that happen. If you look at last season, I firmly believe we were only either 1 or 2 signings away from potentially doing that quadruple. Just 1 or 2 signings, that's all. And that would have been historic That would have been
And
spoken about in 100 years' time.
But in fairness, because Klopp can only work with what's in front of him. So when you think of it, he's done a fantastic job within that. It's just like you said with FSG, they need to invest. And I thought he might have brought 2 players in today. That's why I only brought up,
I fully expected, especially with Mello only coming in on loan, so you're only really taking in the wages as such and stuff like that. There's no sign-on fee. I thought they would have moved for someone. Now, look, I'm sure they tried to move for people and they just didn't get it done. But what frustrates me is they've been sitting on their hands for 3 months. They'd all summer to do this. They knew the midfield was a problem. They knew Thiago was going to get injured. They know Jordan Henderson is getting older. They know James Milner's nearly done. They know Curtis Jones may or may not be up for it. It's no secret. We're not too sure that the boat is out on him. We're not too sure whether he'll make it or not. We know that Harvey is young, but if you look at our start this season, we're relying on 19-year-old Harvey Elliott. We're relying on Fabio Carvalho, who's come in from Fulham from the Championship and stuff like that. They've been the 2 shining lights. They've been the 2 leaders on the pitch for, say, the first 5 games or whatever it is, you know what I mean? And obviously Núñez has done okay, but then obviously missed the 3 games with the headbutt incident and stuff like that. But it's just, this is where we're at. This is Liverpool 2022 at the moment. We're looking to Harvey Elliott and we're looking to Fabio Carvalho as our inspiration on the pitch. And I said it, I went ballistic the other night on one of the match reactions. I said, where's our leaders on the pitch? Where's the 5 or 6 other leaders? These guys are international players. Some of them are captains for their countries. Where's Virgil van Dijk, the leader on the pitch? Where was James Milner when he was on the pitch, when Núñez was going ballistic at Japan and got sent off? Where are the leaders pulling this group together and stuff like that? They're not there. They're not there. They're missing. Look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is way off where he should be. Robinson is the same. He's way off as well. And even look at Mo Salah. You look at Mo Salah.
He hasn't been involved much.
The ball is bouncing off him. His control, his close control is terrible. You seen it the other night. Dan Burn took him apart at times in that Newcastle game. And it's shocking at the moment. And I said it the other day and people don't want to hear it. Mo Salah right now, if we had an option right now or we had a number of fit players that we can move things around, believe it or not, I think Mo Salah at the moment on current form, he's potentially droppable. I really do. I just think he's just not at the races at all.
It's a weird one with him because obviously when Mane was there was the competition between them. But I think he's missing Mane, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
From looking at him.
Yeah. That's Kane, 37.5 million option to buy in Arthur's contract if he can find a form for us between now and the end of the season. That looks cheap in today's market. It is cheap. I would say it's cheap for a reason as well, because I think in terms of Juve, I think this is a problem Juve want to get off their books. And I would wonder whether that's why he's cheap, Kane. He does have a history of injuries, but look, we won't hold that against him. And hopefully, we've quite a really good medical team and stuff like that, albeit we're out the door with injuries at the moment. But if you look at the job they did last year on Thiago, he lasted a lot longer than what you would expect. Matip had a breakout season last year. He played more games than he's ever played. So they're wrapping their head around it slightly in certain ways and stuff like that, But it's.
But I think from Juventus' point of view, I think they sent 2 or 3 players out on loan today. So there's obviously something going on behind the scenes there that we don't know about. That they have to be doing that. Yeah.
Well, this guy Arthur, he's had no minutes at all. I was looking today. It's the last time
this season.
Last time he played, I think was it May or April or something like that? I was reading or something like that. So
it was the start of May. Yeah, start of May was the last time he played for Juventus. Yeah.
So like that's a little bit concerning as well. But look. There was plenty of midfielders out there. I mean, if I wanted, I could sit here. I could probably list off 15 of them that make our midfield better and probably our starters in our midfield. But look, it's a difficult one for us to talk about because obviously we have an affection for Jordan Henderson, our captain, and stuff like that, And obviously for James Milner, there's an affection there as well. But there has to be a line at some stage between the sentiment and the loyalty and the ambition of wanting to go out and win. And those guys as squad players as well and as captains, they have to accept that as well, that they're getting on. I'm not saying it's a young man's sport and stuff like that, because we've seen, look at Thiago Silva at Chelsea, 38 years of age, absolutely unbelievable, you know what I mean? But it's different if you're at the back. If you're in the midfield or you're up front, it's a different game.
Listen, because we had it with Michael Carrick and all, even the likes of Darren Fletcher.
Yeah.
When they were getting on, you still wanted them to do well, but at the end of the day, their legs were gone. So it was time for them to move on. So, you know, like I said, it's just frustrating from Klopp's point of view that he would have wanted 3 or 4 players in, but obviously he's gotten Arthur Mello in and on loan with the option to buy, as Keano just said. So they'll have to deal with that, and then hopefully that they get the lads back from injuries, and there won't be any more between now and the World Cup.
Yeah, it's just the biggest concern then is going into next summer. Then you're going to need to sign another 3 or 4 players. So I think if we need 3 or 4 players signed in next year, that takes Jude Bellingham out of the equation. Takes him out of the equation, because if we sign Jude Bellingham, that's going to be the only signing we're going to do, unless we move another bunch of players out and we buy to sell, or we sell to buy, I should say. That's what I think will happen.
He's City could just come in and slap him up at the end of the day and just 100%. Add to what they have there. Like, so it wouldn't surprise me if he went there.
Look, if any Liverpool fan out there thinks that we're just going to ghost in next summer and sign Jude Bellingham, unless we have some sort of a pre-contract done with him now, and that's why we're not signing, which I haven't heard about. But if anyone thinks we're just going to ghost in there, they need to give their heads a wobble, because to be honest with you, there'll be so many teams in for that guy with so many better options financially, I would say, but also in terms of progression and the opportunity to win stuff and things like that. Like if you're looking at coming back into the Premier League and you want to win the Premier League and you want to win the Champions League and stuff like that, in the current situation that you're in at the moment, are you looking at Liverpool or are you looking at Man City if you have an option?
If he wants to go north, you're going to Man City. If he wants to go to stay in London, he's going to go to the likes of Arsenal or Chelsea. You know, that's the way. It depends what he wants, what kind of lifestyle he wants. But if you're going north, it has to be City, and that's not me slagging or no offense to Liverpool. But
no, absolutely not. That's the reality. And look, everyone's going to be in from. Everyone will inquire about him and offer him some sort of deal and stuff like that. It remains to be seen. And if anyone is sitting back going, because this guy is friends with Jordan Henderson and he sees Jordan Henderson as an inspiration to him and all that, please stop. Football is not about that. Football's a business. You're a brand.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about some of the deals that went through today. These are the latest deals that have gone through. Obviously, we spoke about Arthur Mello, Juventus to Liverpool. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Arsenal to Southampton, is an interesting one for me. I thought he would be a guy. He obviously wants playing time and stuff like that. He's not getting playing time at Arsenal. But it's an interesting one there because he's quite a dynamic player and quite diverse. He can play in a number of positions and all. So it's kind of a really interesting player to have at your disposal at times in your squad.
100%. I think with him, obviously he was never going to break into the starting 11. It seems that Arsenal have some sort of relationship with Southampton in terms of transfers in the past and stuff. But I think he'll get game time there. I think he will play. There was obviously talk of Nathan Redmond. I don't know how true or not it was. He was going to leave as well. So, Southampton and go. I can't remember who was saying him linked to it. I've seen so many transfers today, but listen, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. So he'll get game time, and obviously Arsenal, to me, they needed a backup striker, like Morris said. So letting him go doesn't affect him.
Yeah, it's been just such a weird window. Donker went from Wolves to Aston Villa. He's a guy I really like a lot, actually. Because he's a bit of a powerhouse as well, and he crops up with a couple of goals as well. And set pieces and stuff as well. I
had me fancy a lot last year, and for about 6 months, and he got me a lot of points. So it's a good signing for Villa. Good signing, especially I think did Villa reject a bid from Arsenal for Douglas Luiz as well. So I don't think they've lost him just yet.
Yeah. We're into the final 10 minutes nearly now at this stage, I think so. Yourself brought in Dubravka off Newcastle, goalkeeper. Decent goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, no, it's a good signing. Obviously, Tom Heaton was never going to be back up for De Gea. I think Tom Heaton will drop down to the 23s, maybe be back up for Dubravka for the League Cups and stuff like that. So yeah. Good signing. I was talking to a lad there only last week, and I was asking about him. He's a Newcastle fan. Solid keeper. So that's what you want as your backup, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Idrissa Gueye went back to Everton from PSG. Yeah. Interesting one as well. I think he was at Everton originally, wasn't he? And he went to PSG. And
he went to PSG. Just never worked out. Coming back now, be interesting to see how he how he beds in. I don't
Yeah.
like he might get a start against Liverpool on Saturday morning, depending on the visa and stuff like that. But yeah, no, decent enough signing from Frank.
Yeah, and then the weird one that kind of came out of nowhere, Morris mentioned it earlier. He sent me a picture of it. It was like a ghost. Willian from Corinthians to Fulham.
I was saying that. It was weird because I texted Rowan, who I worked with, and I was like, William's gone to Fulham. I was like, what the hell? Because I remember, Morris will probably back me up. I remember William made his debut for Arsenal against Fulham, and it was one of his best games for Arsenal because he done really well in his debut for Arsenal against Fulham, and then he done nothing for about 6 months after that. So listen, really good signing for Fulham, Premier League experience. I think Fulham have signed a few players today, haven't they? I think Daniel Daniel James won't get over the line in the end.
I haven't seen it yet. I can check it out anyway.
But no, good signing for Fulham. Obviously, Marco Silva knows what he's doing, bringing him in, bringing experience. Just seeing Vinicius from Benfica here as well. It's just coming up with breaking news.
No, Dan James isn't listed yet. Your man Kurzawa came in from PSG as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen,
so
some really good signings for Fulham. And listen,
the boy they brought in early, Paulinho.
Paulinho,
he's had a really good start. He played he had a great game against us on the first day of the season.
Yeah, I think he's come up with 1 or 2 assists as well, for Mitrovic in particular. So, but listen, the way Mitrovic is playing, he's brought that form from the Championship, which I didn't think he'd do into the league, and he's doing really well. And like going to Craven Cottage is not an easy feat either. So.
And the next boy of yours, Pereira, as well, came in and has done well as well.
Pereira, So he always had that potential. He always done well in pre-season friendlies, and then he'd be shipped out on loan. And we never really got to see the best of him, really.
Kano back in. I just read earlier, Willian had been training with Fulham since pre-season to gain fitness before the Brazilian season kicks off. Supposedly impressed Silva so much that he offered him the contract.
There you go.
I to be honest with you, once he went to Corinthians, I never thought we'd see him again on these shores.
It was the same.
Unless it was in a World Cup or something like that.
Usually when the Brazilians go back home, they just stay there and see out their careers, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. What have you made of let's switch it up a little bit. What have you made of Man United? Your own club.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the signing so far. Obviously, we haven't lost Ronaldo, which I didn't think that would happen because it doesn't seem any club wants him. But Anthony coming in, he's going to be really good, in particular in the style that Ten Hag wants to play. We've seen it there in the first half against Leicester tonight. We were pressing very high up the pitch. It was one-touch football. Yeah, in the second half, Leicester creep back into the game, and we kind of saw it out. That's the way he brought on Fred, Casemiro. But really impressed with the signing so far. Listen, obviously in an ideal world that we bringing these players in and playing the Champions League, we're going to be playing the Europa League. So I think there'll be a different team for the Europa League. You might see the likes of Shaw and Wan-Bissaka starting in the Europa League games and stuff like that. But to bring in Casemiro, Anthony, you look at Eriksen. Eriksen was just such a calming influence on the game tonight. Anytime he gets the ball, he knows where it's gonna go. He's assured. I think the one thing, obviously Martinez coming in and Maguire being dropped, I think that's been a big shout by the manager, but it's one that's worked really well. And like I said to you on Monday, I just hope Varane can stay fit, because if he gets injured at all, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I would preface that by saying that Eriksen is one of those players that has to remain calm. It's very important that he remains calm. Just putting that out there. But it was interesting. Like, you look at it tonight now, you started off against Leicester, and you have Casemiro and Ronaldo on the bench. You would have never envisaged that 2 weeks ago, would you?
No, do you know what? It's mad. I was going to say, I went up to pick Nicola from school earlier on, and one of the dads was talking to me, and he says, what about Casemiro? I said, he'll have to get 90 minutes on his belt, won't he? I said, yeah, definitely. And then I seen him on the bench, and I was thinking, Scott McTominay. Now, I had said it to you on Monday, because McTominay has been a bit rash this season. He gave away a free kick outside the box, a foul on Maddison. You know how dangerous Madison is 2 yards outside the box. Now, luckily we got away with it. De Gea pulled off a good save, but anytime I see McTominay in the team sheet now, I think the worst. Casemiro has to start. He will start against Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. And it's a dangerous midfield. Bruno now, he was hit and miss tonight, but in the last 2 games, obviously against yourselves and against Southampton, he's done really, really well. I think him getting the captain's armband has rejuvenated him. But Fred came on then just to kind of sure things up then, that sort of way. So, it's another win, another clean sheet away from home, and I was just happy to get out there with the 3 points in the end, especially the way Leicester were in the second half.
Yeah, and it looks like it's kind of comfortable as well. We're just looking here. There's what's left to go?
7 minutes.
8 minutes or something like that. Yeah, 8 minutes.
Dan James passed his medical at Fulham.
Okay.
Another good sign for Everton, I think, is James Garner. We obviously spoke on the matchup about last season with Forest. I think he's an excellent player, and a snippet at 15 million.
Snip at that price, isn't it? A snip. Absolutely. I was only thinking that today. Yeah, I was thinking after the season he had with Crystal Palace, I was thinking around the 25 or something like that. But with Forest.
Yeah, he's Dave. One of the lads, Dave Malloy's an Everton fan. He texted me last night. What's he like? And I said he's a baller. From set pieces, he's lethal. He runs the midfield. He was a stalwart for Forest last season, and me and Dazzer both spoke at the start of the season saying we thought he'd be in Ten Hag's plans, but obviously we were wrong. But like I said, 15 million, that's a steal. He'll do excellent for them this season, and he's a player that they need at the moment. If you see the way they're playing,
Yeah. What have you made of Forest? Some people are looking at it and they'd have reservations on something like that, bringing in like 20, 21, 22 players or something like that. But I don't know. I said earlier in the window, probably 3 weeks ago, I was doing a show with Darren, and I said, something, I have to clap Forest here for the bravery of investing the money and stuff like that and all, and pushing it out there. Because when you look at them, you look at Bournemouth and you look at them, and they go like they're poles apart, you know what I mean? You see Forest there showing real intent to want to stay in the division, bring in players, give Steve Cooper every chance to be successful and stuff like that, I
like Steve Cooper. He's a great manager. Obviously, the owners are backing him there. It's the first time back in the Premier League after 20 odd years. So to bring in the 20 players that they brought, they're covering themselves well, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Kenneth in the comments there. What number did Arthur take? I'm not too sure, Kenneth. I haven't seen it yet. We can look it up for you and stuff. I saw in this contract there's an option to buy. Yeah, Kane had mentioned that earlier. I wish he delivers. I love the guy. He's going to have to deliver. Look, there's no choice here at the moment looking at the midfield and stuff like that. I just hope when the other midfielders come back and they're healthy and stuff like that, if the likes of Jones and all comes back and Thiago and stuff like that, I hope he's not put out in the cold because he was brought in as a stopgap, if you know what I mean. Similar to what happened with Ben Davis and stuff like that. So
I think he has more experience than Ben Davis did. That was
absolutely
at that time. I can't see it happening like that. But listen, injury free, he's a very good technical player. But it's just like I said, it's like us bringing Varane in. You're just hoping he doesn't get injured.
What about Chelsea? What you're thinking on Chelsea at the moment? Early in the window, they cleared the decks. Bowley took over the responsibility for signing players, along with Tuchel, obviously. I think Sterling coming in has been a real good signing for them. I think Koulibaly will be a real good signing. They had a lot of work to do in defence, obviously, with the players that they lost. Because the quality that they lost and stuff like that was way too much, really. But what you're thinking at the moment, there's a lot of you're reading at the moment, a lot of Tuchel outers out there at the moment and stuff like that. They're not happy. There's talk that if Roman had still been in charge, he probably would have been sacked. Who knows? And some interesting decisions there, when you need a striker, the way Tammy went, and the breakdown with Lukaku and all that, which isn't Tuchel's fault, but as a manager, you have to manage these situations. Yeah. And obviously, you've got players there at the moment not performing who you would normally expect to perform. Mason Mount is performing poorly at the moment. Kai Havertz is very, not really performing to what you want. Sterling has come in and done really, really well, obviously, but we would expect that from Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
Werner obviously left, and now he's back at Leipzig and he's lighting it up. He scored a bunch of goals. I think he scored.
Yeah.
Did he score 3 or 4 goals the other day, or a hat trick or something?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
scored. I've seen he scored 2 goals, but I don't know if he scored a hat trick. I've seen he scored 2 goals the other day there for them.
Yeah,
but,
so he.
Well, no, I was going to say, like the Lukaku situation, when he signed a player and 2 months in, he said he'd rather be in Italy. You know, there's obviously problems gone on behind the scenes, but in terms of defence, I think that they made some really good signings. Like you say, Koulibaly, Fofana's come in. You know, obviously they have Chilwell and Reece James and Thiago Silva.
Aubameyang.
Well, listen, with the Aubameyang situation, I think they needed a striker. He's come in. He is proven in the Premier League, but I don't know if he is a long-term solution. I think he is a little stopgap there. I don't know.
Do you know what it is? He has a head injury as well from the robbery the other day and stuff like that. So apparently he's not going to be available till around mid. Is it end of September or something like that?
And listen, as a person, as a football fan, you don't want to hear about anything that's happened like that. Him and his wife and this, that, and the other. So whoever done that, these are absolute scumbags. But I don't know if he's the long-term solution for them. I think they'll look maybe next summer and get a younger striker in that will do for the next 6-7 years for them.
Yeah.
But listen,
I
don't think they're the team to wear.
Yeah, I'm smiling at some of the comments here on Sky Sports. John Cena to Man City, and they're talking Haaland to Bristol City and all this and all. Some of the stuff is really, really cool. We're just over 2 minutes to go on the deadline. 2 minutes 16.
Well, I will say I'm just disappointed. Josh Bowler has gone to Forest, but he's gone to Olympiacos on loan because he only signed a new deal there at the start of last month. Yeah, it just shows you it doesn't mean anything, like
No,
even
absolutely.
Richard Keogh, our Republic of Ireland friend, signed a new deal with Blackpool in May, and then he signed for Ipswich in the June. So it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, what's the feel in there? What's your feeling now in terms of Blackpool for their season with him going? Because obviously you're close to Blackpool.
Yeah, no, like Michael Appleton's after coming in, and it's been a bit of a kind of mixed start. But we haven't really brought anyone in. I say we haven't really brought anyone in terms of like Sterling. There was a rifle in will know Sterling is his name. He's a fullback. He was on loan with us last season, but today he's after. I thought we would have gotten back, but he's after signing for Stoke City on loan. So. And that's one that's after slipping through the net as well. We did sign Andy Lyons on a pre-contract, Shamrock Rovers fullback, who is really, really lively. He's after scoring. He scored in Europe last week, and he scored against Drogheda there in the FAI Cup in the last minute, or in extra time, during the week as well. So he's going to be a really good signing. He's going to come in January. So he's after signing a pre-contract. So I'm excited to see him, but obviously it's disappointing losing Bowler. He was a great player last season. I got him up first goal scorer and anytime goal scorer as well. So that's disappointing. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the season prevails.
And that's it. The window is closed, so we now have whatever we have from now till January. Kenneth, just to let you know, I looked it up there, by the way. Arthur Mello took the number 29 jersey, and if you want to know the history of it, it was previously worn by one Dominic Solanke. So just to let you know,
the Bournemouth legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the window shut unless the fax machine isn't working, is it?
Unless the fax machine isn't working, or I think unless I think it's okay if you're a free agent as well. It can go on, can't it, or something like that?
And you can get an extension after 11 o'clock if the deal has started. Like say you started at 11:15 or whatever, they give you an extension for an hour or two to get. Yeah,
you can extend out till midnight or something like that, can't you? Or 12:30 or something like that. Yeah, there's a dispensation there for for any little delays or stuff like that, or if a plane couldn't land at a local airport or something like that. But,
or Peter
yeah,
out in Wingies outside Loftus Road waiting.
I actually had a picture of him today as well, and he's there, and I was gonna put it up as a slide, but I forgot to put it on a slide for the show. So yeah,
brilliant.
but I had a
Waiting
picture
outside
there.
Loftus Road, you remember? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose with now what we know, just see here now, there's a reporter walking through London at the moment, interviewing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So interesting. He's just showing long. He's probably after parking the Lambo, so it's all good.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, he'll definitely get goals, but I think Chelsea needs something else for the future rather than himself. You know.
We'll
and what was it, 6 billion or something like that? Was it? Plus obviously Marcus Alonso.
Yeah, I think the whole deal worked out at about 14 million or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying, or 15 million or something. So
and listen,
I'm not too sure when there's a player
from
involved.
His Dortmund days as well, so he knows what he's getting. So he might get the best out of him again.
So based on what you know, and based on who teams have now, how do you see things shaping up between now and say the start of the World Cup?
I think City will be top spot. I think Arsenal are going to be second come World Cup, and then I think it'd be between yourselves, and Spurs for third. And then, do you know what? I think Villa and Leicester are going to be struggling. The Midland teams, I think they'd be struggling unless obviously something happens. There's a change in personnel. I think, as Glasner said, that Rodgers might just walk away from the job and maybe take over the Villa job or something like that. So
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see.
I had predicted this weekend we might lose 2 managers this weekend.
Yeah.
And there's no answers on a postcard for who I'm thinking.
Don't forget, lads, Sean Dyche is still a free agent. So don't you forget that.
It's a kind of a weird one. I was saying it to Darren on the show earlier. Isn't it weird the way, they get awarded for failure? Like if you're a manager in the Premier League and you lose your job and you get sacked, like if that was in the corporate world, you'd find it hard to get another really good position and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. These lads, like you're talking there, like Brendan Rodgers, who could literally leave Leicester and walk straight into Aston Villa. You know what I mean? It's a kind of a weird one, The only thing I was hoping, and I said it on a couple of tweets today, I was hoping that if Stevie had got sacked during the week there, we might have been able to get him to put on the boost and he could have signed for us or something like that. It'd be great to have him back in midfield again.
You could do, and he's probably be one of the younger midfielders.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
Not necessarily at times, but the show has been a pleasure. But Gerrard 5-4 next to be sacked is the bet of the weekend. I wonder could we sign him if he's a free agent?
He could do. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Kane, would you take Stevie back in at this stage? I think I would 100%. Absolutely. Just lose a tad little bit of weight, but what a baller. Listen, it's been a pleasure counting it down and stuff like that. We'll have a bit of crack. I think next week I was thinking for me and you as well, we were going to do a show 30 years of the Champions League. So what I was thinking before it kicks off, maybe on the Monday mashup, what we might do is we might put together something like our top 10 memorable moments from the Champions League or something like that, and maybe top 10 moments. And probably as well maybe do a combined 11 or something like that. But I think in the past when we looked at doing a combined 11, because it's 30 years, you nearly have to take it decade by decade, don't you? Because there's so many fabulous players. How do you whittle it down? I was only talking to a guy the other day and we were talking about the goalkeepers. How do you even pick your goalkeeper? You know what I mean? There's so many good ones,
Boys of Kahn and Schmeichel, Buffon, Casillas. Oh, man. You'd be there all day trying to pick.
No problem, Ken. An absolute pleasure to have you on and stuff like that. Really appreciate you dropping by as well. Absolutely Liverpool to a die. Ken, I've been following Liverpool since about 78, 79. I've had the dark years, I've had the good years, I've had the great moments, I've had the sad moments, I've had it all. Absolute nightmare at times, but pleasure having you on, man, and stuff like that. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to everyone as well in the chat. Before you go, if you could absolutely drop a like on the video, it's absolutely critical for us now on YouTube in terms of our growth and the algorithm and stuff like that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well. I will be at some stage tomorrow, hopefully dropping a Merseyside preview. Depends how rocky the boat is and stuff like that.
Live from Irish Ferries.
yeah, and it'll be sliding around the table maybe and stuff like that. And also, yeah, you might get that good ferry effect and stuff like that. But as always, it's a pleasure. If you want to contact the show, it's the uppertierpodcast@gmail.com. If it's Liverpool that you're interested in, it's the Shankly sessions you want to check out on the channel. Everything else is sort of mishmashed into the upper tier. There will be a Fantasy Chancer, our fantasy football show, going up today or tomorrow for release. It's game week 6. Morris is working on that as we speak before he heads off to Amsterdam. I will try and get a preview out. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get a match reaction to it or not, because I'm not even sure whether I'll be able to see the Merseyside Derby pending because we're away and stuff like that. But surely I'll get the updates and stuff like that. I might give a little quick video reaction or something to it. Probably pulling my hair out, but hopefully not.
Who on Frank?
Until next time, my friend, an absolute pleasure. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, guys.